Big Rab Show Podcast is kindly sponsored by G1 Reeds. They are the champion's choice, with many bands around the world playing G1 products, providing everything you'd need to hit the circle or the big stage. So, check out g1reeds.com as they keep the lights on here at the Big Rab Show Podcast.
Hello there, everyone, and welcome to another Big Rab Show podcast. We are finally back again in my garage. Yeah, normal service has been resumed. Now, we have had a raft of specialist episodes ever since the begin. So, yeah, genuinely, I'm quite excited to be back again in the chair to catch up with you guys good and proper. Now, you might have guessed by the title of this week's episode what we're about to get into, but yeah, stick with us. We've got a lot of ground to cover. Yeah, post-worlds and all of that stuff. Yeah, we're still talking about the big in all these weeks later. And yeah, we're about to get into all of your listener mail, weekly drone, all that stuff. But before we do, let's go through our introductions though. First of all, shall we? Well, if this is your first ever Big Rab Show podcast, well, welcome. How you doing? We are the show for the bagpiping folk. We reflect everything in the bagpiping world, be it Celtic music, folk music, or indeed our bread and butter, which is competitive piping and drumming. Each and every week we're here talking about what we know and love to be the music of the Great Highland Bagpipe and its people. And I know at this point in the show we normally do plug our Patreon. I have to give a big mention to our Patreon faithful, by the way. We've seen a huge jump in numbers over the course of Piping Live and Worlds Week and everything. And yeah, shout out to all of you there on Patreon who've really been enjoying the wealth of extras that we have over there, okay? That's all I'm going to say. But there's tons of extras there from the Worlds, from Piping Live, from all of it. There's so much great stuff that we managed to produce over the course of August and even through the course of September. And yeah, where we are now, there's still a wealth of great extras back there. So if you do want to be part of the Patreon faithful, the link's in your show notes right now. Go over there, click on support, and you can get your mitts on all of those extras as well. Yeah. Or, of course, yeah, you can hang out here because we will be producing our shows free as always. That was the question I got asked at Piping Live. Do we have to support you on Patreon to listen to the show? Absolutely not. No, we're here every week. Doesn't matter if you want to click support or not. Either way, we are here. But if you do want to click on support and be part of the Patreon faithful, you are awesome. Yes, you are. All right, so yes, Patreon has been plugged. Right, at this point in the show, we do normally catch up with listener mail. Now, as you can imagine, we have weeks of it, okay? Now, we have got a wealth of questions, and I'm going to do my best to kind of get through all of them here at the very beginning of the show. We've been asked, obviously now, at this point in the season, we are now in what's affectionately called transfer season. And a number of people have reached out and saying, hi, is the Big Rab Show matchmaking service underway? Is it working? And yes, at the minute we are currently gathering in the names of bands and players all across the world. And that's what we're finding. We've got quite a few people on the books from the United States, from Canada, also a few in Australia, quite a number in New Zealand this time round. And yeah, we've a wealth of people from the UK who are all actively seeking bands. A good number of players out there who just haven't been in the circle for one year to the next for whatever reason. And yeah, they've obviously been following our show, have decided to pick up their instrument again and get back into the action. So yeah, we're keen to find these players bands to play with and vice versa. We do know there's a good number of bands out there who are recruiting at the moment. So if you are looking for players, of course, then yeah, do get in touch with us here at the Big Rab Show and we'll add you to our books and we'll do our best to get everybody hooked up. So yes, the Big Rab Show matchmaking service is back again. Yeah. So email us, bigrabshow@gmail.com. That's where our listener mail goes. Now, yeah, as for the rest of listener mail, we got a lot of commentary talking all about the World Championships. We did bring a lot of our thoughts and feelings, opinions on all of things World Championships. We brought that to our World's Wrap-Up podcast. And as you can imagine, there has still been some considerable fallout following the World Championships with a lot of questions being raised. Now, yeah, during this time of year, yes, you guessed it, we're into all sorts of branch meetings, AGMs, And then eventually, start of next year, we have the headquarters AGM to get into. So a lot of these questions and comments and all of these queries, we do feel may well be addressed at these future meetings. Now, that might be a bit of a cop-out, yeah, I guess. And people say, oh, there's Rab sitting on the fence. But no, genuinely, a lot of the questions that have been asked talking about the World Youth Championships, how different grades have operated on the Day of the Worlds, obviously a big topic for us in the Rab Show was the security staff and other topics that we did talk about in our World's Wrap-Up pod. So if you haven't listened to that, go back, have a listen to it. We are still getting a ton of questions and comments about the Worlds. And who knows, we might need to do a Worlds Wrap-Up Part 2 or something. I don't know. But yeah, thank you to everyone who did email in. Yeah, we've been doing our best to answer your questions in response because we knew that we were having, quite a number of specialist shows. Let's talk about the specialist shows, by the way. We got a wealth of email about the 2 Big Rab Show lives at Piping Live. I have to say, genuinely a heartfelt thank you to all of you who've enjoyed those episodes. The videos are up there now on our YouTube channel. You can go back and watch them, of course. But yeah, to be a part of that festival, honestly, it's not lost on me. That's one of the biggest piping festivals in the world, arguably, and to even have our name included in the credits is something serious. So to have that ability to hit the stage not once, but twice at this year's festival was just a huge moment for us in the Rab Show team. Now, granted, it was a ridiculous amount of work. Yeah, for anyone that's ever put on a live gig before, you know just the amount of work that's involved behind the scenes. So I have to say full credit to the Big Rab Show team who really did, pull it out, I guess. It was absolutely fantastic. And to all of the artists as well, he just had some incredible performances, given some of the most difficult conditions. You know, I think it was Anna Smart who said that she'd never played pipes in a sauna before. Genuinely, we were in that bothy tent and it was an absolute sweatbox. It was so hot in there. Yeah. So anyway, we're not going to complain about the conditions. Genuinely, we were just excited to be there and we had so much fun at Piping Live. If you haven't had a listen to those 2 shows yet, go back, have a listen. You can even check out the videos, of course. They're up there on our YouTube channel. And yes, as always, there's tons of extras in our Patreon. So if you do want to check those out too, they're there as well. But yeah, just a genuine, heartfelt thank you to everyone who came and enjoyed the show and had the best possible time. It was brilliant hanging out with all of you. And to all of the Rab Show team. Yeah, genuinely, they're fantastic. What a group. And yeah, we're not too bad for a bunch of volunteers who managed to pull 2 amazing shows together, and it was fantastic. So that was brilliant. So yeah, thank you for all your kind comments. A lot of people really enjoyed those, and also a lot of people had comments and stuff about our World's on the ground reports. A lot of people really enjoying them. However, I did get some hater mail on those. Oh. Yes, I did get some hater mail for some of the Big Rab Show on the ground reports from the World Championships. Now, if you haven't listened to those, yeah, they aren't easy to make. And yeah, there was quite a lot of criticism flung my direction. You didn't record my band, you didn't record my band, etc., etc., etc. There was a lot of that this year. And I don't know particularly where it came from, but yeah, I was an active competitor on the Saturday, so it was very difficult to get around. I think that was kind of talked about on the podcast, how I did tell people that it was going to be a challenging day for me. I did have to play bagpipes and compete in the circle as well as make a podcast. So to those people that I really badly annoyed, I guess, hey, we can't please everyone. And yes, your listener mail may well feature in a future episode of Hater Mail. Yeah, so we'll look forward to that one. Hater Mail part 3, I think. Yeah, we've done, 2 of them so far. So yeah, we'll have to revisit Hater Mail. We did get quite a number of that following our on-the-ground reports. There you go. So, well, anyway, I hope that manages to deal with a ton of questions. There was a lot of questions, actually, about recent events and stuff, obviously about the All-Ireland solos and different solo events that were running up to this. Down Academy had a solo event as well. We got a bunch of questions asking about that. A lot of our coverage that we did from those solo events are up there now on our YouTube channel and on our socials. We did also manage to close out the season as well with a couple of extra events from Scotland, so we managed to get those videos up on our YouTube channel also. We also got coverage from, is it the All England Championship as well from Corby? So you can go and have a watch at all of that footage as well. So yeah, the team, even though the Worlds did close its doors, then we did keep the wheel turning somewhat. There you are. So, yes, by way of answering all of the listener mail, I know people don't like it whenever we just try to, respond to everything with one wide brush, I guess. But, there is so much over the past while. Yeah, we've done what we could. Also, shout out to the folks at the Belfast International Tattoo. What an event that was. It always is kind of a highlight of our calendar, for sure. And that episode was really quite special to put together. I have to give a special mention to the folks there at the Pipes and Drums who did invite me along for a bit of a tune behind the scenes. And I think I said it on the pod. It did mean a lot to me. That was quite a special moment that, playing Scotland the Brave and Black Bear with the folks back there, even though I didn't know how to play a Black Bear. Anyway, but that fun moment. So if you haven't listened to all of those specialist episodes yet, please do go back, have a listen at them, and check out the videos, of course, on our YouTube channel. It's been a wealth of work that the team has been putting all this stuff together, and we hope that you've enjoyed it over this last while. There you are. So that's pretty much it for listener mail. If you do have any specific questions or that going forward, then absolutely email us in bigrabshow@gmail.com. That address again, bigrabshow@gmail.com. And we'll do our best to answer all your questions. There you are. So that's it for listener mail. And you might have guessed, at this point in the show, it's time for one of our favourite points in the show. It's time for Weekly Drone. And we did mention this in previous podcasts that we have, we've got loads of these on the shelf. Now, I mean, Weekly Drone is where you can send in your thoughts and feelings completely anonymous. There's no identifying factors here. So it seems to be a lot of you were taking advantage of that. Yeah. Go along to our website, thebigrabshow.com. There's a big button at the top of the page that says Weekly Drone. Click on that and you can send us your story, your thoughts, your feelings, and all things to do with the piping scene. It's an open microphone to the piping world without fear of recrimination. Yeah. So if you do have any thoughts on that, send it in, Weekly Drone. But it might be a while until we get to it because, we've got loads of them here. So for this week, rather than trying to get through the entire shelf of Weekly Drone, we have picked out potential 4 to enjoy this week. So JD, let us have the first one then, ma'am.
It's the Weekly Drone.
North America who? Rab, love you guys, love the show, but you totally snubbed North Stratton on your world's prediction like they didn't take second place at the Euros. Hey, they only came second last year at the Worlds to Ravara. Let's consider how well North American bands are sounding this year. My prediction? Top 3 bands could very well be from overseas. Again, love the show, but you may have forgotten how hard these lads have been working over there.
Ah, yes. That was a weekly drone that we received directly after our World's Prediction podcast. Yes, now that was quite a while ago. Now, you might not remember this, but whenever we did discuss Grade 2, we did mention about how difficult it was to go and consider that grade. And yeah, I think we did consider every band in that grade. If we didn't mention North Stratton by name, then that's on us, I guess. But we did mention that it was a completely ridiculous grade and every band in there are worth their salt. And yeah, I think Grade 2 this year at the World Championships in particular was just... It was fantastic. What a competition. And we were not disappointed. But to that weekly droner's point, if we did neglect to mention any band from North America or for any other international climb that was in that Grade 2 circle, then hey, we couldn't shout out everybody. And I guess this is one of those things where we can't please everyone. We did say that omission is by no means, a slight on your ability to win a prize. And, yeah, it is what it is. We hold our hands up. But I do believe, listening back, that we may well have given mention to North Stratton. There you are. But we did seem to annoy that weekly droner there. There we go for our World's Prediction Pod. But hey, we live to fight another day. And our World's Prediction Pod is always pegged as just a bit of fun. We're not doing this to intentionally exclude anyone or annoy anybody. So, hey, if we did cause any annoyance, I guess we will hold our hands to that. So there, apologies, weekly droner. There you are. Let's swiftly move on, shall we? All right, weekly drone. JD. Give us another one then, mate.
It's the weekly drone. Awkward truth. Hi, Rab and team. What I am about to say is not groundbreaking. There is a clear divide in grade 1. We need a 2A and 2B. The divide in grade 1 makes it actually quite boring. One can quite easily guess the bands in the top 6 with relative accuracy. I personally don't care if it's another hurdle for a band. It just makes the achievement of a band getting into grade 1 even greater. I feel sorry for these bands that give up hundreds of hours a year practicing for these competitions when they know full well they don't have a chance of even sniffing the top 6. Yes, there is always the argument of, just get better then. But the sad truth of bias, we all have it. It's human. So let's open up the playing field. Spice it up. Introduce a 2A and 2B. Let's make things interesting. Next point. I question some of the results of the grade 1. No, I am not saying that Inveraray did not deserve to win. They most certainly did. I am, however, questioning other results over the 4 competitions. I was sat thousands of miles away with a good sound system hearing what multiple microphones picked up. I have to ask, what on earth were the judges hearing that we didn't? We hear absolutely everything. You can't hide in grade 1. Microphones don't lie. Maybe it's time for judges to also sit where Bob Worrall sits. Headphones on, multiple microphones from all angles. I bet you the results would be different.
Weekly Droner, I think you're making 2 points there in your Weekly Drone this week. The first point you were making there is about the establishment of a grade 2A and a grade 2B. Now, this is similar to a discussion that we did have in a previous podcast a good while ago now about the suggestion of the establishment of a premier grade. Yeah, and splitting grade 1 into grade 1A, grade 1B. That kind of deal. It's interesting your approach here to go to grade 2A and grade 2B. I'm not sure if that will work. Similar to the argument that we were talking about in that previous podcast about grade 1A and grade 1B. Again, I'm just not sure if that would work. Now, I think your suggestion here is that there is a clear definition between the bands that are finishing in top 6 and the ones that are finishing underneath the top 6. In my opinion, listening back to a lot of the recordings, now we've had a good long while after this to consider all of that, you know? Now, this weekly drone, I have to say, was received on the Sunday after the World Championships. So now we've had a bit of time to sit with it and be able to digest all of those performances we heard in grade 1. Do I believe that grade 1 should be split between a 1A and a 1B, or as our weekly droner suggested there, a grade 2A, 2B? In my opinion, no. I think every band that was in that grade 1 ring genuinely could have hit that top spot, and for good reason. There is so much musical creation going on in there. Innovation and other bands that are doing really interesting things musically. And I know people will go to the World's website, you know, they'll watch the BBC live stream and they'll listen to the top 6 and they'll not bother listening to any other band. And that's on them. In my honest opinion, you should listen to the entire grade. There is some real brilliant music being played that doesn't hit the top prizes. Now, I am old enough to remember the days when the World's CDs used to get released every year. And from memory, there was mates of mine that only ever bought Volume 1. They never bought Volume 2 or even the qualifying CDs whenever they were released. You remember those? Yeah, I do know a good number of people that just bought Volume 1 and that was it. They didn't listen to anything else. But over this last while, I've been collecting a lot of those old world CDs, and some of my favorite tracks from back in the day, through the 90s, early 2000s, a lot of those performances that are my favorites are ones that were nowhere near the prizes. Yeah, so folks, if you haven't spent time and listened to all the other bands in that grade, take time and do that. All right? Now, I know, it's difficult to do, and whenever you want to listen to that Inveraray medley from the Saturday for the 1 millionth time that week, of course, it was a stellar run. Absolutely, I agree. But I would urge you, go and check out those other runs in that grade. And I think that kind of lays waste to this argument here of the establishment of a premier grade and a lower tier grade. I don't know. I would love to know your thoughts on that, of course. You can send me in your own weekly drone on that if you have any strong opinions on it. All right, JD, let's get into the third weekly drone for this week then. Come on, let us have it.
It's the weekly drone.
Grade 2. Everything said last week about why Grade 2 shouldn't be split could also be used as an argument for why it should be split. There is obviously a massive jump from Grade 3A to Grade 1. Having a single Grade 2 means you have bands who are closer to being very good 3A bands competing against bands who are expecting to be in Grade 1 in the near future. Having a Grade 2B, it allows bands to find their feet at that level, competing against bands of a similar caliber before making the jump to 2A. A 2A grade would also essentially act as a 1B grade. There are probably 7, maybe 8 bands between Scotland and the island of Ireland alone who could be categorized as being too good for Grade 2 but not good enough to challenge in Grade 1. I think a 2A grade would very quickly become a must-watch for spectators, and the bands being promoted out of such a grade would be in a much stronger position to challenge in Grade 1.
Again, another weekly drone about the possibility of splitting Grade 2 between a Grade 2A and a Grade 2B. I'm not sure. Listening back to, I know we were talking there about Grade 1 and how there was a split there between the top 6 and everyone else. But then whenever you look at Grade 2, was there that same split between the top 6 and Grade 2? I don't know. You did mention there about a good 3A band making that jump into Grade 2 is expected to be in Grade 1 in a few years. I don't know about that. Yeah, it does take a while to get the grass under your brogues in Grade 2. It does take a little while to gain that momentum. So whether it'll happen within a year, 2 years, I don't know. That's a difficult one. As for splitting Grade 2, I don't know, man. I've listened to a lot of the performances in that Grade 2 circle from this past year's Worlds and other majors for that matter. And yeah, I think the grade overall is pretty even. Now, that's just my opinion. You guys can disagree, of course, and send me in and tell me the stuff that Rab got wrong.
Rab got wrong.
If that's the case, absolutely, I'll take my lumps on it. But I do genuinely think that the grade is pretty even. There are those that do sort of poke their head above the parapet and say, hey, we're ready for that Grade 1 jump. And yeah, we'll talk more about regradings and that later on in the news and updates, because we just had that, haven't we? It's another controversial topic. We'll talk about that later on in the show. Yes, we will get into it. But whether we should be looking into splitting Grade 2, similar to whether we should be looking into splitting Grade 1, I don't know. I think the more rungs that you add to the ladder, the more difficult to climb. That's my opinion. Again, you can disagree with me, but I do think that jump from 3A to Grade 2 is huge. If you manage it to get into Grade 2, brilliant. Wow. Yes. First of all, pat on the back, but now the work starts. If you do want to head to the heady heights of Grade 1, you need to be worth your salt, as they say. And yeah, there's quite a number of bands in that Grade 2 circle at the moment, especially this past season, that can really thump a tune. And I don't know. The grade's pretty even at the moment. There's any band in there. That's why we call it the ridiculous grade. You know, everyone can absolutely, on their day, win a major. And yeah, I don't know, adding an extra rung on that ladder, will it help? I don't know. I would love to know your thoughts on it. That's been an interesting conversation. There's 2 weekly drones now about the potential of splitting our top grades, and I would love to know your opinions on it. Go to our website, thebigrabshow.com, big button at the top saying weekly drone. Yeah, let us know your thoughts on splitting grades. That's a couple of interesting conversations there. Yeah. All right, JD, we've got time for one more before we get into all the news and updates. And yes, we'll get into that regrading as well. All right, let us have it, JD. What's this week's last weekly drone?
It's the weekly drone.
World Youth Championships. Hi, Rab and team. A few thoughts on the Youth Championships for you. The RSPBA excelled at making an already long day even longer. Those kids were still standing at mass bands later than the adults were on Saturday night. They were told on the microphone, McDonald's is still open. Absolutely awful. Hardly any stalls open throughout the day with limited food choices. Toilets very unclean for day one. Nothing really to see once the grade ones had cleared out. They really need to ditch the lovely lady from Glasgow City Council and her speeches. Pages of buzzword AI bingo that nobody was listening to. This has to stop. She can get her moment in the limelight somewhere else. She churned out a similar but longer speech on the Saturday. This consumes so much time at the end of a very long day. To finish on a positive note, well done to all those kids and to the lucky few that made it into the grade 1 arena. That is a memory to remember forever.
Yeah, weekly droner, fair play to the kids on the Friday, genuinely. We spoke about it in our World's Wrap-Up pod, about what a strange day that was. Friday at the World Championships, honestly, is always a huge highlight because you do get up close and personal with the grade 1 big guns. It's possibly the best day for piping fans because you get that access. You know, on the Saturday, the place is absolutely heaving and you can see no one. The crowds are just ridiculous, especially this year. It was nuts. So, yeah, Friday if you wanted to get access to grade 1 action, the Friday was it. But, yeah, as for the World Youth Championships, there's been a lot of commentary about that. And your commentary, I think, about the day dragging on and on and on. I think that's the number one bit of feedback we got about the World Youth Championship, about how it did finish under floodlights. Yeah. And I think your comment about the speeches, I think it's from the Lord Provost of Glasgow. That could be stuff that Rab got wrong.
Stuff that Rab got wrong.
Yeah, there's a bit of a theme running this week. There might be a lot of stuff that Rab got wrong. But yeah, her speech on the Friday, it was epic. But the speech on the Saturday, it was something else. And I think we spoke about that on a previous pod as well. Wow. Yeah, I think people are still talking about it today, about how it was exhausting. You know, fair play for, you know, the bigwigs to get up there and have their moment in front of the cameras and, you know, talk to everyone. And like you see this sea of people out in front of you. It's a big moment, you know, for the chieftain of the day to have their moment in the spotlight, I guess, to address the piping world and the gathered masses and to welcome everyone to Glasgow. It is a very special moment. Yes, I can see that. But yeah, when you have the realization that these people have been competing all day, they're absolutely exhausted, and the only thing they want is to hear who won and then go home and get a pint. That's about the height of it. But when you have to stand there, I think the speech on the Saturday was about 30 minutes plus. Now, that, again, could be stuff that Rab got wrong, but it certainly felt that way. Yeah. Once mass bands started and the BBC were messing about with their cameras, Jackie Bird did her introduction. Welcome to the Worlds. That was fun. But then we were like, okay, great. Can we get on with the results now? And like, no, I have to have a speech, and then we have more photographs, and then we have to wait for the press. And right, it did. It took forever. All right. Now, fair play to Colin and to everyone there at the compiling team. Once we got to the results, then it was pretty plain sailing, you know? They sort of rattled through them pretty quick, to be fair. I mean, you consider just how big the Worlds is and how many prizes they have to dish out. I did think, fair play to them. They did get through them pretty quick. But I think that was off the back of quite a long speech. And they kind of give themselves a bit of the, right, we need to speed this up here. People are going to start to leave. So, yes, Weekly Droner, I have to agree with you. The feedback about the World Youth Championships, yeah, I think there should be a lot more development there. I think it's a brilliant idea, and it did seem to work pretty well. It suited a lot of the Grade 1 competitors who also had jobs with the school bands. It did seem to work for them quite well. And there was a lot of positive feedback from that regard. And, yeah, from chatting to some of the kids that were involved as well, they did enjoy it too. However, the late finish, they weren't fans of that, for sure. And that's been a lot of the feedback we got. That, Rab, we were going home, we were going to get something to eat, but everywhere was closed. And, yeah, you're quite right. There was an announcement on the mic, McDonald's is still open. Yeah. Anyway, that is what it is. So, yeah, will the World Youth Championships be changed for future years? I don't know, but this is the first one of its kind. And will we see future developments? I reckon we will. You know, as these things improve and change through time, they can only get better. So lessons will be learned and things will hopefully improve there. There you go. All right, well, we did spend a queer bit of time there with Weekly Drone. If you do have your own, you can send them in, of course. bigrabshow.com, that big button at the top of the page. Let us know your own Weekly Drone. And, yeah, we'll bring yours to a future show. Right, the thing is, at this point in the show, I should grab myself a wee break, but I'll be right back with all the news and updates.
Do you wish piping could be fun again? Bagpipers around the world continue to struggle with their instrument, despite hours of hard work trying to get better. Bagpiping should be fulfilling. Your hard work should pay off, showing improvement and the freedom to express yourself musically. Or why do it? The Dojo University believe every piper should be able to free themselves from musical frustration, proven over more than a decade of successful teaching and accessible anywhere with an internet connection. The Dojo is unlike any other bagpipe learning experience in the world. Let the Dojo channel your enthusiasm into a fun and fulfilling program that will empower you with the knowledge to fall in love with piping all over again. So go to dojouniversity.com/Big Rab and take advantage of our 30-day free trial of Dojo Premium membership. Join the global community of students today and rediscover the fun of bagpiping. dojouniversity.com/Big Rab for a 30-day free trial.
All right, time to get into the news and updates. Now, I can appreciate this has been a bit of time since I've had opportunity to actually go through some of the news and updates, and quite a bit of time has passed since we've last done this. So, yeah, there'll be quite a number of stories that we need to get through, but I don't want to bore everybody with like 2 hours worth of news that we need to catch up on. Because, yeah, we could absolutely fill a full show just on the news and updates that we've missed. So I'm going to do my best to cover some of the biggest hitters, I guess, that has happened since we were last talking to you, which was pre-Worlds. I know, crazy. So, yes, we're going to kind of gloss over some of the big solo events and stuff that has finished by now, like the All-Ireland Championships, the juvenile competition that was held in Down Academy, and a wealth of other great solo piping and drumming events has all taken place. And yeah, we're going to draw a line there. If you do want to go and check out all of that information of who won what and where and who got pre-qualified for world spots and all that stuff, you can go and check that out. They're all available on their various websites. You can go and check the RSPBA Northern Ireland branch site. You can check the RSPBA site, all of that. All those details are all up there. And I will also recommend one of the most reliable sources for news over the course of this past month or two has been Bagpipe News. Yeah, it's been a really valuable source of information. So shout out to that website. So go and check that out. Bagpipe.news. I know, far be it from me to actually plug something. I know. Shameless plug. But go and check them out if you do want to get caught up on all of your pipe and drum and news and views. But yeah, we are going to do our best to get through some of the heavy hitters over this past while. So I'm going to start with an event that happened just recently, actually. The Northern Ireland Piper of the Year Championship, which took place there on the 27th of September in the Adair Arms Hotel in Ballymena. Now, this event has been running for as long as I can remember. And yeah, I did ask a bit about the history of the event. And yeah, it started 1 year before I was born. So it hasn't been going that long, but yeah, 1 year before I was born. So yeah, about 40 odd, I would say. There you go. It's been going a right while. But right, let's get into who actually won it. Congratulations to Chris Coyle. Yes, overall winner of the 2025 Northern Ireland Piper of the Year. Yes, and Chris won it mathematically. Yeah, because the winner of the Peabrook competition was Ashley McMichael, and Chris was a runner-up. And in the MSR, it went to James Fraser, and Chris, again, was a runner-up. There you go. So, yeah, also the winner on the day of the Hornpipe and Jig went to James Stone as well. There you are. So, folks, if you are, again, wanting that information, you can go and check it out. There's an article published about it on pipesdrums.com. Unfortunately, we don't have any video footage or anything like that from the event itself. Yeah, this has been the case now for a few years. I don't think we've actually attended it ourselves in the Big Rab Show team, so that's on us. So, yeah, who knows? We might attend a future event in the near future. But yeah, for the Northern Ireland Piper of the Year. It's quite a prestigious event here on this side of the Irish Sea. And yeah, I know a lot of pipers that, as well as wanting to lift that All-Ireland title, they're also wanting to win this as well. It's quite prestigious. So yeah, congratulations to Chris Coyle, deserved champion there. Well done. Right, so as I've said, there's been so many like big announcements and things like that. One of the biggest announcements just dropped shortly after the World Championships, and we haven't really had a chance to chat to you about it. People's Ford, Boghall and Bathgate, Caledonia, announced, that Bradley Parker is their new pipe sergeant. Yes, Bradley Parker, of course, has a wealth of experience in the piping world, but also, interestingly, from the trad and folk scene. Yeah, we do know this last while that Brad has definitely been dipping his toes in that trad and folk scene and has been doing really quite well. And yeah, this is a very interesting appointment. Now, at the time, we last were chatting to Bradley Parker whenever him and Kerr McQuillan had released their brand new track together, and we spoke about that in our previous podcast. But yeah, kept that under their hat, kept it pretty quiet. But yeah, this is quite an exciting new appointment for People's Ford, Boghall and Bathgate, which already seen them stepping out this year with a brand new pipe major, Callum Watson. So what's next season going to look like for Boghall? I'm absolutely excited for this. Now, I'm a huge fan of Bradley's approach to the music. If you've ever listened to any of Bradley's playing, he's quite an exciting player in his own right. So I'm really interested to see what he's going to bring there to People's Ford. So that's exciting. Bradley himself, still quite a young man, and yeah, clearly incredibly musical. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what he's going to bring there. There you go. That's exciting. So a brand new appointment for Boghall. But also we got new appointments announced from the Federation. Yes. Man, I was so excited to read this whenever it dropped, but it seems like weeks ago now at this point. Yeah, around the early September, we got an announcement from Police Scotland and Federation to say they're back. Oh, they're back, baby. Yeah, should we get a yay for that? Yeah, we should, absolutely. Yeah, Police Scotland and Federation Pipe Band. Now, we do know the story behind why they weren't in the circle this year. Enough said. But yeah, we were expecting an announcement of a brand new lead tipper, and instead we got something different. Yeah, and well, they did announce their brand new lead drummer, who is Blair Folds, and that's exciting in its own right. So yeah, looking forward to seeing what Blair would bring to the back row there. But yeah, the brand new pipe major at Police Scotland and Federation, Duncan Nicholson. Now, that might be a name familiar to many people because Duncan, yeah, he was previously the pipe major of a band, before. So he's now back in that role of responsibility. And we all know the amazing music that Duncan can put together. Oh, man, can you tell I'm excited for this? This is a big moment for the Federation band. Now, it's been too long since we've seen them. A whole season standing by the sidelines. And yeah, over the course of the World Championships, I did spot a lot of their players walking around in civilian clothes and maybe tuning the odd drone here and there or drinking the odd pint, enjoying themselves. But it's back to the grindstone for the Federation Pipe Band. Very exciting stuff to see that, it's a complete change of management there, which, as you know, can be a completely different band when they hit the circle next season. So to everyone there at the Federation, yeah, we're mad excited to see you. Well, especially me. I'm a huge fan of the Federation, and this is such good news to see that the band is going to be back out again with new management. Also, I have to give a huge shout out to the previous PM, Ewan Henderson. Honestly, he'd done fantastic work as well. So, yeah, shout out to Ewan, who worked with us, of course. The Federation played at a previous Big Rab Show live, didn't they? And they absolutely played a storm. It was brilliant. So, shout out to Ewan and to everyone there at the Federation Band. This is such good news. And if anything, they did put the call out on their press release here to say that they are on the lookout now for tenor, snare, and a bass drummer as well. So, if you are interested in stepping out with the Federation Band, well, they're now actively recruiting. So our auditions are currently ongoing. And if you are interested, of course, you can contact them at blairfolds@hotmail.co.uk. Or, of course, you can visit them on their socials on Facebook and all that kind of stuff and drop them a message. Say, hi, I want to lift the sticks and have a go. So, yeah, good luck to the Federation Band. This is a huge new chapter for the band after what I'm sure would have been a difficult season standing by the sidelines. So, yeah, for us fans of the Federation, this is fantastic, and yeah, I'm all for it, mate. Oh, this is so good. Do you know what? I'll give them even a round of applause. Yeah, that's just brilliant news. I love having good news stories here on the show, honestly, and that's great to see. So 2 exciting new appointments. However, we did get some news that will be a bitter disappointment to a lot of piping fans, and another end of an era. Yeah. Early September, not only did we get the news about the Federation Band, but we also got the news that Jack Lee is retiring from competition with the Simon Fraser University. Yeah, truly is the end of an era. And I honestly didn't appreciate how long Jack Lee had been with the Simon Fraser Band. You know, genuinely, whenever I look back through the history of how long Jack Lee has been there at SFU, it's like, that's a serious tenure he's had there. And yeah, like I think it's over 30 years plus he's been there at Simon Fraser. So, wow. And then whenever you read the list of accolades that Jack Lee has accomplished with the band during that time, it's just incredible. So, yeah, I don't know. This is kind of on a par whenever Dr. Richard Parks, MBE, stepped down. This is, again, another huge figure in the bagpiping scene stepping down and retiring from competitive bagpiping. Now, he's not stepping away altogether, all right? You know, he's still going to be there as director of the Robert Malcolm Memorial Pipe Band and as treasurer as well of the Simon Fraser University Pipe Band Organisation. So he is still going to be there behind the scenes helping keep the wheels turning, I guess. But, yeah, as for stepping into the circle with a bag under the arm, yeah, that's it. That won't happen anymore. So it's bittersweet in a way. We've been playing a lot of Simon Fraser's music over on the Big Rab Show and Fuse this last while. It's been heavily requested. Obviously, following this announcement from SFU, it truly is the end of an era. And that last medley performance in Glasgow, that'll be remembered for that very reason. That was Jack's last medley with SFU. It's a big moment. And yes, we had statements, of course, from Alan Bevan and Reid Maxwell, and just, you know, that were glowing, really. And the outpouring of love from the scene as well, thanking Jack for all of his years of hard work and just the amazing music he brought to the circle with SFU. It's just been really heartwarming. So from all of us here on the Big Rab Show, I don't think Jack actually listens to the show, but we do want to say our heartfelt thank you, Jack, for all of your years. And just, yeah, again, the incredible tunes that you've brought to that circle with SFU has just been iconic. And yeah, again, the start of a new chapter of the Simon Fraser University. So looking forward to seeing now what they're going to be up to. Now that Jack has stepped away from that circle, will this change the musical voice of the band? I guess we'll have to wait and see on that front, but it's going to be interesting to follow that, eh? So, yeah, we've been doing our best to catch up with the news, and so far there's a lot already that we can make into a full show. The the appointment of Bradley Parker, the appointment of a new PM and lead tipper at the Federation, and the retirement of an absolute legend from the piping scene, Jack Lee. So what's next? Yeah, well, I'm going to move into something that has caused so much controversy. We've been talking about this now since this news dropped, and I think it's all anyone's talking about. The music board regradings. Oh. Oh, we tackled this topic last night on Fuse. And yeah, let's say this. There was a range of text messages that we received that we simply could not broadcast. I needed one of those. But yeah, the text messages we got in were fierce, man. So many people with some very strong opinions on this. And yeah, okay, why are people so annoyed? Like, what gives? First of all, let's talk about the downgrades. All right, now the downgrades, people, whenever you talk about downgrades, it's always like, oh, you're getting a demotion. It's seen as a negative thing. But this could really help a lot of bands, you know? This could be just the leg up that a lot of these bands could need, and it could really be the making of them. So anyway, having experienced that myself, being in that situation where a band has to take a step back and compete at a lower grade level than what you're used to over the past few seasons, well, it could absolutely be the making of the band. Anyway, let's get into the downgrade. Starting with grade 4A to 4B, we have Perth District, Stockbridge, Marumba, and Troon Blackrock. Now, those are all names that I do remember reading throughout the season. And that's caused some controversy. A lot of folks were saying, there's a lot of good bands in there. Why are they being downgraded? Yeah, and that's part of the discussion as we go further up. All right, looking at grade 3A to 3B, we have Mulgai and Buchan Peterson, both taking a step back from 3A to 3B. Yes, now also taking a step back from grade 3B to 4A, we have the Mid-Argyll Pipe Band, along with the Ayr Pipe Band as well. Yeah, I'm surprised by both of those. Yeah, moving on. From grade 2 to 3A, we have Bucksburn. Yes, now it has been a difficult season for Bucksburn. Yeah, I can see that. But I don't know. A lot of people were arguing last night about whether a lot of these downgrades were a move too soon. And would it have been better to let them sit in their existing grade for another season to see how they go? That's a difficult argument, that one. I don't know how, I don't know. I would love to know your opinions on that, but do you think this is a move too soon for all of those bands we just mentioned? As I say, there are some of those names that I do remember reading out through the season, especially at major championships as well. So in the prize list at the majors, but still find yourself with a downgrade at the end of the year, it has people scratching their heads. Anyway, let's move on to upgrades. All right. Now, this could be a positive and a negative. Obviously, it's a positive that you're being upgraded because the music board see fit to say, hey, your band's class, we're going to move you up. However, it could also be seen as a negative because, well, next season's going to be all the more challenging for these bands. Yeah. Sometimes making that jump up a grade can be quite a big jump and very challenging for some. So I guess we'll have to look at this. All right, starting off with our Novice B to Novice A, we have Oban High School, Lochgelly Junior, we have St. John's College from Zimbabwe, Scots College number 2, we have the High School of Glasgow, along with Scots College. There you are. From Novice B to Novice A. Now, what we find with the Novice grades is that a lot of these bands, whenever they do get their upgrades, then chances are they get appealed and they get moved back down again because, you know, the people in these bands get older, they get better, but as a result, then they graduate and go to different classes and etc. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, there'll be a lot of movement in these novice grades for a while until it does finally settle with the appeal process. Moving on, we have from Novice A to Juvenile, we have Lochgelly High School, George Watson's College, and West Lothian Schools. There you are, making the jump from A to Juvenile, which is a huge jump there. That Juvenile grade's insane, but there you are. As I said, all of these aren't final. You know, that things can move and change as bands put in appeals and requests and different things. And this is only following the first meeting of the music board, I have to stress. That was a conversation last night in Fuse also. This was only the preliminary meeting. Things could change, and there could be more bands added to the list of going up and down, and yeah, bands put in their appeals, and they could move back down or back up, and you just don't know. So I guess wait and see on that front. But this is how it sits at the minute. Okay, getting an upgrade then from 4B to 4A, we have Barhead and District, Carrigaline, Letterkenny and District, Queen Elizabeth, City of Discovery, the City of St Andrews, and Youghal. There you go. Did I pronounce that right? Yeah. So these are all bands that I've been reading out throughout the season, and have all been, pretty strong all year, to be fair. You know, whenever you look at the results from the World Championships, a good number of those bands were definitely in the fight there. And of course, for other major championships along the season, all of these bands making that jump from 4B to 4A, in my humble opinion, deserve it. Yeah, so well done to everyone there. Shout out to all of you. Moving on to grade 4A to 3B. Now, some people argue that this is quite a big jump. Yeah, it is. So good luck to these guys. Moving from 4A to 3B, we have the Vale of Atholl. Yes, their 4A band's getting a jump. We have New Ross and District. Yes, we have the National Youth Pipe Band of Germany, who I did manage to hear at the Worlds, actually, and they were really on song. Yeah, such a good band. We also have the East Ayrshire Caledonia. Yes. We have Coulter and District and Govan Community. Now, I spent a bit of time listening to Govan, and I was really impressed with their sound. Yeah, some really clean playing too. So, again, I can't argue with any of these. I think these upgrades from 4A to 3B definitely deserved. A lot of these bands really thumped out a big tune this year. And, full credit to all of you. Now, another one. Yeah, this next one had everyone talking. And we got some cheeky text messages about this. We got, the Black Raven Pipe Band making the jump from grade 4A to grade 3A. Where's my button? Woo, yeah. But this is the Black Raven Pipe Band making this jump again. Yeah, now you may have remembered at the start of this season last year, Black Raven were upgraded from 4A to 3A, but they appealed it and they were moved back down again to 4A. Now, will we see that happen again? We don't know. But I can tell you, from listening to the Black Raven Pipe Band this year, that band has been absolutely singing. They are so good. So, full credit to everyone there at the Black Raven Pipe Band who really did play out of their skin this year and, deserve it of that upgrade, in my opinion. Whether I believe they deserve the upgrade up 2 levels, I don't know. That's arguable, I guess. But it is what it is. The music board have seen fit now to promote them up 2 grades. Yeah, it did also start a conversation. If that band was too good to be competing in grade 4A, then, what happened at the appeal stage when they were initially upgraded to grade 3A? And that was a conversation possibly for another day. We don't know how the appeals process works, and of course every band's circumstance is different. And as to what happened with the Black Raven Pipe Band last year, when they got upgraded and then appealed and moved back down, we've no idea. But as you can imagine, the rumour machine is working in overdrive, and there's tons of stories behind the scenes. But I have to say, I would stick to the original sources. You know, go to the rspba.org and it's there. It's written in black and white. And that's where I would get my information from. Or, of course, the band themselves, who seem to be really quite chuffed with the upgrade. And I do wish them luck. That is quite a jump. And, as much as people are saying this is a huge positive for the band being jumped up 2 grades, it could also be quite a challenge as well. Although I do think the folks at Black Raven will definitely be up for that challenge. So, good luck, folks. All right, let's talk about moving from grade 3B to 3A. There's actually quite a number of bands in here, actually. Shout out to the Elgin and District, Scottish Borders, Carnegie Mellon, Surla and District, and Drumloch, who are all seeing a jump from 3B to 3A. Yes, now, from personal experience, having listened to all of those bands this year, again, I can't disagree. if anything, some of these bands sounded on par with some of the grade 2 bands that I've heard this season. Some of the tone that these 3B bands are playing, man, was ridiculous. So, yeah, just congratulations to all of you in there. I have a particular soft spot, of course, for Stirling District, of course, after winning the World's Drumming this year. They had a really stellar season. And Drumlock as well. I've really enjoyed their playing this year. Of course, their medley selections too. Whew. Haven't listened to Drumlock's medley this year. Go and have a listen to it. Yeah, cracker. But also Carnegie Mellon as well was a big attraction on the day of the Worlds, actually. They drew quite a crowd. A lot of people checking them out. Yeah, Scottish Borders and Elgin as well. Equally big tone machines, in my opinion. So, yeah, all those bands definitely deserve the upgrade to 3A. So, good luck, folks. Also, taking the step up from grade 3A to grade 2, the ridiculous grade, we have Texo, D-Side Caledonia, and Ron Moore from Brittany. Yeah, D-Side Caledonia has been such a powerhouse in that grade 3 arena. It's hard to disagree with that. And also, having listened to Ron Moore, absolutely cannot disagree with it. I think both of those upgrades are definitely well deserved. However, making that jump from 3A to grade 2, this is arguably one of the biggest jumps that we have in our grading system. Now, we spoke about that earlier, about splitting grade 2, the ridiculous grade, into grade 2A and grade 2B. I don't know, but we do call it the ridiculous grade for a reason. So, yeah, good luck to D-Side and to Ron Moore. Yeah, that's going to be challenging. But again, both bands can certainly thump out a tune. I'm really excited to see what they're going to bring in there. That's exciting. And then, yeah, where are they going to fall in the prizes? Because I reckon they will. You never know. That's the thing with that grade 2 at the minute. Any one of those bands can crack the top 6. So, yeah, best of luck to Texo, D-Side Caledonia, and Ron Moore. Congratulations on your upgrade. And, yeah, we look forward to seeing you in the circle next year. Now, also, we're not done. Yeah, there was a bit of a conversation last night, and I didn't really want to get into it on last night's show. Yeah, there was no upgrades from grade 2 to grade 1. Oh, and be full of controversy this week. Yeah, there was no upgrades. Now, that's surprising. Yeah, whenever you consider the performances we've been treated to in grade 2 this year, like Glasgow Sky, come on. What a set they played this. Oh, what? Yeah, Glasgow Sky and Uddingston, both bands have been nipping at each other's heels all season. And not just those two bands, there's a wealth of other bands, like the Ulster Scottish. We've had North Stratton, to give them a shout out, of course. But there's tons of other bands in that grade 2 ring that have just been, absolutely thumping out tunes and melting faces all over the place. That grade 2 arena, I think I did say it on my on the ground report, that if you were to stand there at the grade 2 arena, you would be thoroughly entertained. The music in there is just fantastic. So yeah, very surprising that none of the bands in grade 2 have seen a jump to grade 1. Now, there was some text messages last night and a few emails that we got as well talking about this situation that said, well, perhaps now's not the right time to promote these bands that we were all talking about last night on Fuse, and the ones that I just mentioned there now, and others. Yeah, people did say that perhaps the right thing to do here is allow those bands to continue to find consistency. Yeah, because that was one of the things with grade 2 this year, is that, yes, the bands were absolutely excellent, and there was kind of that battle in there that you just didn't know who was going to win each week. And I think that's what the music board are looking at. They're looking at the consistency element of it. A lot of our grade 2 big guns can absolutely step in there and melt our face off and absolutely sweep the boards and win prizes all over the place. However, the following week, that very same band can step into the circle and just have an off day. Something goes wrong. Some little minor thing, a little mistake creeps in, just something just off the boil, and it's the intangible. And then they find themselves maybe lower down the pecking order a little bit. So perhaps that's what our music board are looking for. They're looking for that consistency of excellence before they make that jump to the top flight. Because let's face it, once you do get that jump to the big yin, to grade 1, then it's dog eat dog in there, you know, and you need to be ultra on your game and super competitive if you want to feature anywhere near that top 10 spot. So, yeah, it's been the making of some bands and the breaking of some bands as well, making that jump to grade 1 possibly too soon, arguably. So this could be what the music board here are considering. I guess we'll wait and see. But that has been a topic of discussion for most of last night's show on Fuse. Thank you, everyone. You did text in last night. It was an entertaining show. And if you did miss it, then you can go and get it on our Patreon page. Hey, shameless plug. But yeah, you can go and check that out. It was an entertaining conversation. But that was kind of the overwhelming feeling, is that the music board here are perhaps being a little bit more savvy than in previous years, where it seemed to be the name of the game was to promote. And yeah, they found that sort of mantra wasn't working too well. And so now being able to take that step back, allowing bands to kind of grow more naturally and settle over time, and yeah, consistent excellence. Nah, I think that's what they're looking for. Anyway, I guess we'll see. You know, this could all be stuff that Rab got wrong, and then next week, the music board, or the week after, I don't know when the next meeting is. So yeah, they'll meet and they'll publish something and say, hey, look at all these upgrades from 2 to 1. You know, and it'll be absolutely
Stuff that Rab got wrong.
There you go. But yes, the music board will be meeting again. As to when that meeting will be held, I'm not sure. It hasn't been confirmed as far as I'm aware. But they will meet again and review all of this. And yes, as I mentioned, a lot of these bands that we just mentioned there about upgrades and downgrades, they do now have the opportunity to appeal the decision. So they can either support the decision and accept it and start preparing for the new year, or they can file paperwork and say, hey, we're not happy with being either downgraded or upgraded. Can you please look at that situation again? Yeah. Now, there's multiple different things that can affect an appeal. Sometimes bands have complete changes of personnel over the course of what we call the transfer season, and that could absolutely affect the performance level of a pipe band. You know, say if your entire pipe corps walk out the door and you just have a drum corps sitting in the band hall, what do? And you're going to be stepping out in grade 2 next season or something. Or grade 1 or grade 4 or whatever. So, yeah, it's a difficult one. And all of these factors all do get considered at the music board meetings. So we're not out of the woods yet when it comes to regradings. Yeah. So we'll wait and see. There was also some talk as well about a lot of our international bands did not see any upgrades or downgrades. And there was a few bands in, like the National Youth Band from Germany with Carnegie Mellon in there. And there was a few others in the mix there as well, of course. St. John's College from Zimbabwe, Scots College, of course. So a lot of, not as many as we expected, and maybe that's a consideration as well for the music board here. Maybe doing their homework a little and maybe looking more in depth into a lot of the international bands that they might have not had a chance to see this season, and give it full consideration. So I guess the message from this news story, watch this space. It's a moving picture. It's not done yet. And we're certainly not out of the woods. So as that picture changes, we'll certainly keep you across it, and we'll let you folks know of any future developments. All right. Okay, I'm going to talk about dates for your diary. Let's move on. Right. This weekend is the New Zealand Young Piper of the Year competition. Now, of course, ourselves and the Big Rab Show, we are going to be live streaming the entire thing. So if you do want to go and catch the competition, just tune in online. Our recommendation would be to catch it on our YouTube channel. We have the links and everything all up there now. You can go and check it out. For both the Pembroke competition and the light music, all those links are available. You can also go and watch it on our Facebook page. But again, the quality on there on Facebook, not great, to be honest. But yeah, our recommendation would definitely be our YouTube channel. So if you are following us on YouTube, then we hope to have you tuned in over the course of this weekend for the New Zealand Young Piper of the Year competition. We've got some surprises along the way. We also have an expert commentator that will be joining me for the light music competition and providing some expert advice, I guess, for what the judges are listening for. So we have a lot to get into with the New Zealand Young Piper. And this is kind of a highlight of ours each year, where we get the opportunity to live stream this. Now, granted, for us here in the UK, the time's not great. The time difference is an absolute killer. But the joy of it being live streamed online is that you can watch it back again. However, I can't watch it back because I'm doing it live, baby. So yeah, the Pibroch competition starts on Friday at 9 p.m. here in the UK and runs all the way through the night. I think it stops at like 3 in the morning. And then they take a break, and then they're back again for the light music then at 6 a.m. on Saturday morning, which will run all the way through until about 11:30 a.m. UK time when they crown their champion and all of that. But if you're going to be tuning in New Zealand, it's 9 a.m. Saturday and 6 p.m. Saturday. So it's great for New Zealanders, but a bit rubbish for us in the Northern Hemisphere. There you are. But that's this weekend. Just a shameless plug. Go and check it out on our YouTube channel. Big Rab Show on YouTube. We have shared out all the links and everything there for both the Pibroch and the open light music. So, yeah, just a lot to enjoy there. There you go. All right. Now, I've also going to give you a save the date. Yeah, we have this published on our socials just today, actually. The 2026 Kids with Cancer Charity Night will be taking place in the Royal Hotel in Cookstown again. And the date is the 28th of March. Now, we haven't any other details other than that, okay? Before the rumor machine starts turning, we have had no confirmation of who's going to be playing at it, where to get tickets, etc. None of that's been confirmed yet. Just for now, they're asking you to put that date in your diary because, yeah, Kids with Cancer Night has just been getting all the more popular since post-COVID, I think. Yeah, the ticket sales for this event has just went absolute gangbusters, and you can't get them every year. They seem to sell out in no time, which is brilliant to see because it is a charity event and you are trying to raise as much money as possible for the Children's Cancer Unit there in Belfast. So, yeah, get that date in your diary, folks. 28th of March, Kids with Cancer Charity Night. And, as soon as we know more details as to who's playing at it, the cost of tickets, etc., then we'll certainly let you folks know where you can go and grab them. But, yeah, for now, get that date in your diary, the 28th of March. Okay, now, as promised, last night on the Big Rab Show on Fuse, I did tell you we were going to be launching something special. Yes, the Big Rab Show Awards are back again, baby! Woo! Yep. That's hard to believe, isn't it? Big Rab Show Awards are back. Every time I hear that music, it just gives me the chills. I know it's Big Rab Show Awards time. Yes, the nominations for the 2025 Big Rab Show Awards are now open. Yes. Now, people do get confused about the nomination process and how it all works. But before we get into all of that, let's talk about our categories. First of all, we have Most Improved Band. We also have Best Tenor Flourishing. We have Best Venue. We have Best Dressed. Yeah. We also have the Best Competitive Band Medley Performance. That's going to be a conversation around the dinner table right there. We also have Coolest Bass Drum. There was a lot of cool bass drums this year, to be fair. Yeah. We also have Drum Major of the Year, along with Coolest Drums. We also have Best Concert or Live Performance. Yes. We also have Best Social Media. We have the Best Band Tent or Gazebo. I know a lot of bands will be competing for that. Chat about that in a second. We also have Best Branch Award. Now, this was something we introduced last year. And we received a wealth of nominations for this. So if you believe your branch was brilliant, there you are. We also have Best New Product or Innovation. I personally love that category because, it lets us see some of the great new gadgets and gizmos and innovations that we've got this season. That's a great category. Also, we have an old favorite. Best Beard is back again. We also have the Big Rab Show Tone Award. Now, this can go to any band that you believe had a blistering tone. There you are. Tone is king. The next category, then we have Band of the Year. Then we have the Big Rab Show Legend Award. Now, all of these categories are open right now. At the point of you listening to my voice, the nominations are open right now. Now, I have to be very strict on this. Last year, we got a lot of nominations sent to us in direct messages and DMs or even comments on our social media posts saying, Rob, I want to nominate, etc., in Best Beard. All right? That's fine. I get it, but we're being very strict this year. Those nominations, direct messages, stuff like that, they won't be counted, okay? Being very strict with it this year. But yeah, nominations have to be emailed in to bigrabshow@gmail.com. Now, you can also put in the title nominations. Okay, that'll just make it easier for our team as we're compiling all of this. Because as you can imagine, these awards have just launched there this evening, the point of me recording this, and we've already received over, let me have a count here. Over 130 plus emails. 135. 135. Okay, that'll probably increase by the time 137. There you go. So the number's increasing, okay? People are sending in their nominations. And please do the same. Now, they have to be emailed, bigrabshow@gmail.com. All of those categories. If you have a particular favorite, a band, a person, a product, a venue, anything like that, if you do believe that they deserve a Big Rab Show award, then you need to nominate them, okay? Can't stress that enough. The nomination process is vitally important. Every year we get complaints about, my band should have won Best Band. Well, did you nominate them? And 9 times out of 10, the answer is, oh, no, I didn't know I had to. Well, you do. Okay, so email nominations, please, to the bigrabshow@gmail.com. And the closing date for your nominations is the 11th of October. Yes, 5 p.m. UK time is the cutoff point, and no nominations after that point will be counted. Okay? Just putting that out there. Any nomination received after 5 p.m. on the 11th of October will not be counted. Your email will simply be deleted, and that's it. Nomination process ends after 5 p.m. on the 11th of October UK time. There you are. So, let's run through the categories again, shall we? We'll get in the mood with the music and everything. Oh, the Rab Show Awards. There we go. Yes, categories again. Most Improved Band. I'm sure I can hear the cogs moving already. People thinking, that band had a good year. Yeah. Most Improved Band. Next is Best Tenor Flourishing. Tenor corps have been so creative this year. Yeah, so there you go. That's one to consider. Also, Best Venue. Now, we know the World Championships has won, I don't know how many years in a row now. But there has also been some real good, cracking venues over the year. So, food for thought. Also, Best Competitive Band Medley Performance is next. And I'm sure everyone's going to be thinking that Inveraray medley on the Saturday. Okay. But there has also been some real stellar runs this season from other bands. And not just in the top flight, for that matter. I did mention Drumlocking District had a real good medley this year. So, yeah, worthy of some consideration there. Also, Coolest Bass Drum. As I mentioned, tons of bands with cool bass drums, so a lot to choose from. We also have Drum Major of the Year. Yes, our drum majoring world has been ultra competitive, and I'm sure a lot of drum majors could definitely reach in our final there. So, yeah, get your nominations. Next one then, Coolest Drums. A lot of bands with incredibly cool drums, I have to say. And yeah, shout out to North Stratton. Come on. Those drums are just iconic. And so many other bands as well with incredibly cool drums. I'm not going to shout them all out individually. I know I shouted out North Stratton, but so many bands with really cool drums. I particularly like. No, I'm not going to give my favorite, but I know who I'm going to nominate. All right, we also have Best Concert or Live Performance. 2025 has been a good year for concerts and for live gigs and stuff as well. So, yeah, if you've been to a concert, a live performance by a pipe band that you've enjoyed particularly, then get your nomination in. Best Social Media. Now, this does not just apply for the likes of Facebook or Twitter. This also does look at the likes of YouTube channels, Instagram accounts, TikTok, all of that kind of stuff. If they're on socials at all and have a pipe band or piping-based content, then you can nominate them in there. There you go. So also, the next award, Best Band Tent or Gazebo. I did talk to a good number of bands at the Worlds and other championships this year who have quite considerable big team behind their tent and their gazebo. And yeah, some have power, some had running water, not even kidding. Some had a full kitchen with a microwave. Some of these tents are insane, man. So if you believe your band has a brilliant tent or gazebo and deserves an award, there you are. Get your nomination in. Also, the Best Branch Award, we did talk about that earlier, where if you believe that your branch has put in the work this year and has produced a stellar season for you, or perhaps has introduced some innovations and improvements that you think deserve some recognition, then the Best Branch Award, get your nomination in. Also, Best New Product or Innovation, we mentioned it earlier, all those gadgets and gizmos and new ways of doing things, that's where you can put your nomination in there. A lot to choose from, actually. It's been a lot this year. Moving on, Best Beard. A lot of really handsome faces of fur out there to choose from. Even one in our own Big Rab Show team here. Stuart, of course, that we kind of took the mick out of a little bit at Rab Show Live, but he does have quite a handsome beard. Yeah. So if you believe that you have a band member with a brilliant beard that needs a nomination, then get it in. Yeah. Big Rab Show Tone Award. Now, this does not just apply to grade 1. All right? Yeah, because I know everyone's going to, look at your Inverays, your Field Marshals, your Shots, all of that. You're the grade 1 big guns, But what I'm kind of wanting you to kind of stretch outside that comfort zone a little bit. There's been a lot of bands with big sound this year. And this is not an award for the most successful grade 1 band. This is a Tone Award. If you think there's been a band with a particularly amazing sound, well, there's the award for them. Moving on, Band of the Year. Now, this may not necessarily be a world champion or a major championship winner for that matter at all. It could come down to a band that's been particularly engaging in their local community, has done a ton of charity work or perhaps a lot of tuition and introduced new players to the piping world. It could mean a lot of things. Band of the Year is a very interesting award where success at competition is one part of it, but we believe it's a small part of it. Yeah, so Band of the Year, worthy of your consideration. And then the last one that we have every year, Big Rab Show Legend Award. Yes, we know quite a number of legends in the bagpiping world that would definitely be worthy of such a title. And get your nominations in for that. So, the lucky finalists then, once all the nominations have been closed and counted and tabulated, then we will be announcing all of the finalists on our podcast here on the 15th of October. So you haven't got too long. So nominations close on the 11th, and then we're announcing our finalists on the 15th. There you are. So good luck to all of our potential Big Rab Show Award winners. Now is the time to start running campaigns, getting people to nominate you, and in the hope that you will make it through to that final stage and be an official nominee. Yeah, so good luck. We want to wish you all well, and I'm looking forward to the 15th now of announcing all of our finalists. Yes. Big Rab Show Awards. That's a highlight every year, isn't it? Now, I'm going to talk more about the Big Rab Show Awards as we get closer to that eventual date where we announce our winners, because we have some quite special things along the way to enjoy. And that's all I'm going to say on that front. I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag in particular, but let's say this. The Big Rab Show team behind the scenes, we've been putting in a serious amount of work for this year's Rab Show Awards, and we believe that 2025 is going to be quite a special year for the awards. We've got some special plans. And that's it. I'm not going to say any more. Stepping away from that. All right. Folks, that's pretty much it for the news and updates. And it's brilliant to be able to announce the launch of the Big Rab Show Awards. That's very exciting. We do know that we do have events fast approaching. Actually, we have the World Solo Drumming Championships on the 18th of October. We also have the Glenfiddich Championship coming up as well, which is the World Cup of Solo Bagpiping. Come on. We will talk about all of these things in future shows, all right? But this week, we just wanted to do our best to catch up as best as possible. So we hope we've done that. But of course, if there is any huge news story that we have neglected to mention, then please do email us in, bigrabshow@gmail.com. If there is a story that has hit the cutting room floor and should definitely have been in, then please do let us know and we'll get it included for next week. All right, let's get into this week's topic. Finally, we made it, folks. We made it. Yeah, so the Big Rab Show Awards has now been officially launched, and now it's time for me to go and get a big cup of tea. It's time for the topic of the week.
Kingdom Thistle Pipe Band Supplies for all your pipe band and marching band needs. Supplying everything from uniforms and instruments to custom-designed bass drum heads. They offer it all. Not forgetting their exclusive Kingdom Ghillie Brogues and George Boots, crafted by bands for bands. Kingdom Thistle provides expert product advice and an industry-leading drum refurbishment service to keep your equipment in top-class condition. Also, shipping worldwide. So, stop by their store in Fife or visit them online at kingdomthistle.com for all your pipe band and marching needs. Ready to take your playing to the next level? Say hello to the ES Session Chanter, the ultimate practice chanter designed for versatility and durability. Crafted from stainless steel and aluminium, the chanter comes equipped for both an A stem and a B flat stem, giving you the freedom to play along with any instrument, anytime, anywhere. Whether at a band practice or a trad session, the ES Session Chanter keeps pace with your creativity. Included with the chanter is the custom carbon carry case, the perfect addition to this compact and tactile instrument. To get yours, head to essessionchanter.co.uk.
This is Project Smoke, and you're listening to the Big Rab Show.
Yeah, there we go. All right.
And we're back. Time for topic of the week. And yeah, you might have guessed by the title of this week's episode exactly what we're going to get into. Yeah, we've got quite an interesting conversation with none other than Andrew Douglas. Yeah, good mate of the show and now world champion again. So we had to catch up with him to find out what it was like in that circle during that moment that we spoke about earlier on in the show. Yeah, that Saturday medley performance now from Inveraray, that has now become the stuff of legend, I think. Even I've sent that to non-piping fans who absolutely loved it. And yeah, they're like, Rab, fair enough. I think I can see why you enjoy this piping thing. So yeah, we caught up with Andrew to find out what he's been up to since the Worlds and all of it. So yeah, looking forward to getting into this. So let's welcome Andrew to the Big Rab Show Podcast. So welcome to the pod, world champion, Andrew Douglas. Andrew, how are you, mate?
I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good. I'm happy. It's been, I'll say, Rab, I did have to get my hair cut 2 days ago. So I've lost a lot of world championship winning hair, which I was sad about.
Right, I see.
I cut my fingernails as well about 2 weeks ago. So we've had to move on. We've had to move on with life.
There you go. Yeah, so that era is now gone. Yeah.
That's it.
The last I was chatting to you actually was at the gate at the World Championships on the Friday where they wouldn't let us in.
That was a bit wild, yeah.
Wasn't it? We were all sort of standing around going, let us in. Very weird situation that, wasn't it?
Well, the best part of that situation, I don't know, have you spoken about this on the show yet?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the security staff, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, the best part of it, I don't know, and if you have, I don't know if you already told the story, but the best part of this whole situation was there was a man that was getting his exercise in. He was running, and he must have accidentally stumbled through the gates without being noticed or something. So as we're all standing there, and they absolutely would not let us in, there's this man running, and then suddenly the guys and gals in the yellow jackets that were they see him in the park, and they're like, you there, stop right now. And the guy, he had his headphones in, he was he was just out for a run. He had no idea. I don't think he had any idea. And then several, let's just say, significantly less fit security people start running after him, trying to get him, but they're not fast enough, so they can't get him. And so there's this big chase scene that the boy wasn't even aware of. Yeah. And then eventually, maybe 2 or 3 minutes later, he walks out of the park just kind of shaking his head. But I thought it was extremely comedic, and that was
like something out of that show, Benny Hill. Have you ever watched that? Where they like chase each other in a circle?
No.
I think that guy done like a full lap of the park with security guards chasing him.
Yeah, it was great. It was fantastic.
Hilarious. I'm sure he did wonder, though, why was that dose of people standing around in kilts with pipe bags and all that standing around? I'm sure he was wondering.
I think he probably just wanted to get his run in before the crazy world. He probably lives near the green. He probably knows, but he didn't realize that like no one was allowed in, or maybe he was in there running before they got set up. I don't know.
That's it.
But hats off to that fellow.
Absolutely. Yeah, full credit to him. He got through the gates and we didn't. Maybe that's it. Maybe you have to go at it at a pace and just like sprint past them. I don't know. I'm not encouraging that, of course. Yeah. So, Andrew, obviously lifting the big in again this year with Inveraray, mate, we have to talk about that medley that everyone's talking about. Now, I've been calling it on the show the Dream Valley medley. I don't know if that's the right title or not, but that's how everyone's referring to it. What is the proper title for that medley?
Well, I think that would be approximately what we would call it in the band.
I see.
The Dream Valley medley, yeah.
Yeah.
The medley came about. I would say that that Dream Valley. Well, not all of it. So the bit where we go into Lock Inside was a later addition,
Right.
but the reprise, however you say it, of the Dream Valley thing at the end. That's something that I did a long time ago. I don't know if you remember when I used to do my vlogs where I was like doing my video episodes of various things, and it was quite cheesy, but like for the vlog, I'm a guy that likes to horse around doing my own music as well from time to time.
Yeah.
So I was also, for a while I was doing the vlogs and then also trying to do my own music for the vlogs. And that little Dream Valley reprise thing was part of that. I put that together, and I was thinking it was a good melody, and then maybe I'd write a hornpipe thing to go underneath. And so I did all that. I remember the day after that vlog came out, it was Lauren McDougall that reached out to me, and he said, what's that music that you're playing under that vlog thing? That music's really cool. And he thought it was really good. And a few people did. But anyway, that little idea was sort of floating around the ether in the band for quite a while, but it never just never really got picked up. Like there's so many good ideas that float around in the band, so
yeah,
you don't really know what's going to get picked up. But anyway, that's been floating around for quite a while. But then the last year, throughout the season, we were talking about how this year would be John McClelland's 150th birthday, which is where that idea started floating around again a little bit more. Like, oh, that's a cool thing we could do, and obviously would be kind of cool for the John McClelland 150th birthday thing.
Yeah.
And so then we started to talk about it more. The other thing that, and I don't know if anyone's talked about this at all yet, so I hope I'm not like letting the cat out of the bag or anything. But the other thing that happened at some point was I was chatting with Allie Henderson just randomly about how awesome the music to the final Star Wars trailer was. I don't know if you remember it, but the music to the final Star Wars trailer, it would have been, when was that? 10 years ago? I don't know.
Yeah, I was going to say it was a while ago. Yeah.
I stumbled across the Star Wars trailer and I remember liking the music, and I listened to it and it's so awesome. And he was like, yeah, it's so awesome. And I love how they slow down and they do the Star Wars theme in the minor key instead of the major key in that trailer. And we started talking about it. And then and I remember this clearly, it was the night before Forest last year.
Right.
We were roommates in the hotel and we were listening to the trailer music. And I was like, I wonder if you could sing Dream Valley or Lock Inside or something on top of it. And it turns out you absolutely could. And that was that was sort of the spark that led to the Lock Inside bit. And we were up to like 4 a.m. the night before Forest, just like singing the music to that on repeat, which I thought was pretty cool. It was pretty, we were super nerds on that one. But anyway, that's sort of the ending bit. That's sort of how it came together, I think.
I see. Yeah. And we have what we have now. It seems to be on repeat now. Every week on Fuse, we have played that medley. Everyone really seems to love it. So tell me what it was like to be in that circle for that World's performance. Like we clearly seen it meant a lot to a lot of the membership there.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I wasn't crying by the end. Only because I found that at the Worlds, if you get too emotional in the moment, it can make you it could lead to making a mistake of some kind, right? So if you get too wrapped up in the moment, you can end up off track. So I was just personally, I was out there just trying to be vigilant and, keep my blowing steady and not make any note mistakes or anything, So
Yeah.
however, but once we were done, yeah, I think everybody realized, like, holy crap, I think we might have just played a good one there.
Yeah, that's it. Have you watched it back yet at this stage? Have you watched it back?
I haven't seen it a single time. Just kidding. No. Oh yeah, I've seen it a lot. I watch it and listen to it regularly because it's cool.
It's one of those moments in time now. I think people will remember where they were when they heard that medley. I remember when I heard the Sandpiper medley for the first time and the 70th. I remember where I was, and I think this is going to be one of those moments too. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, I have that. I have similar memories as well. Great medleys. Yeah. I never heard that. I was busy, so I never heard the SFU 2008 medley live. But for me, that's the big one.
That's a big one. Yeah, for sure.
It's different I think it's different when you're doing it. I think
I'm going to ask that. Yeah.
I think the Field Marshal crazy triplet run, like incredible, and then just nailing it on the day. Like for me, that seems like kind of iconic as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. And
I spent most of the weekend. I wouldn't say stressed because I've gotten better at this over the years, right? But like I spent big portions of the weekend just thinking about how good FM was. Like, I mean, like hats off to those guys as well. And they did win the piping in that medley as well.
Yeah.
Probably rightfully based on like what I heard in the tuning park. I mean, man, they were on fire too. And all the bands are amazing.
Yeah,
it's like crazy. The level is crazy.
That's it. And some of the bands, like if you've listened to any of our on the ground reports, they just sounded like orchestras, almost like the impact of some of the sound.
Yeah,
just amazing. Yeah.
Well, and that used to be the domain of just one or two bands, like the incredible sound. And now it's at least half of the field has incredible sound, and then the other half is still excellent sound. And so that's one of the things as I get older and I wouldn't say wise, maybe slightly wise, but as I get older, like for me, one of the greatest joys is just like being in the mix and participating in things moving forward. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I remember we spoke to you about this one time before about nerves and about whether you do get jangly going on the line and stuff. But you've said over the time that you've learned to kind of control that and use it to kind of fire you up to that line. Was that the case this year?
Definitely. And last year as well. Like I feel like our team is an amazing team in the sense that like, you just know, I feel like we just really trust each other to deliver.
Yeah.
I really, and I hope that doesn't sound stupid saying that or anything, but like, it's a great team. You just know like, oh, that guy 46 feet away from me on the other side of the circle, like he's going to nail this. And like, I'm going to do my best and hopefully nail it as well. And then, you know what I'm saying? Whereas maybe sometimes you could be on a team where not every single person is dialed in, maybe. But Inveraray the last couple of years has been super dialed in.
Absolutely. Yeah. Now, I know you're a piper with the band, but I do want to talk about drumming for a little bit because that was definitely a highlight of Inveraray this season, I thought. And with Stephen McWhirter's score in that medley, being able to take that step back and contributing less during some portions, it really helped to make it sing. Do you think, was that something that the drummers helped work on,
So, yeah, Stephen is so dialed in this year too, wasn't he?
Absolutely.
I don't know if this is 100% true, but I think that Stephen and I started playing at the Worlds in grade 1 in the same year.
Wow. There you go.
He joined SFU the same year I did back in the day.
Yeah.
And so, it's one of the reasons I love playing in Inveraray is because, Stephen's core is so great and Steven's a creative guy. Yeah. So did you catch like some of those bits that where he's in the lock inside bit? Is he just basically playing the standard drum score? Like
That's it. Very simple stuff where it was a deliberate choice where he could have like really punched through in all sorts of drum and fireworks, but they didn't. Like they stood back and let the tune sing. And I just wondered if that was a real conscious choice. But I suppose he's the man to ask, I guess. But
he is the man to ask. But I would say that I think it was conscious. You know, like the whole thing was. I mean, I think we probably felt like, when's the last time a medley ended like slow and stately?
Yeah,
you know,
good
I
point.
can't really think of one, and maybe like I'm sure there has been some, but you know, we felt like slow and stately, and in a way, it's almost like, in a way, we almost maybe moved the slow air to the end, I guess, kind of. We played the slow bit at the end instead of the middle, you could say. But yeah, I think everyone was really aware of that. Yeah.
There you go. And it could, obviously, when you're coming up to the end of the set, players are getting tired, you know, blowing could maybe start to go off a little. Yeah. And it can expose some things as well when you slow down. But Inveraray has nothing to expose.
You're right about that, though. You're right about that. I think it's a definite risk. And it sort of goes to what I'm saying about just what a great team, you know. I think every single person in the pipe corps, for example, had that going through their mind. Like, here we are at the end, and this is like, you know, this is the moment where you have to be focused on your blowing and so on. And then everybody delivers on that. Because there's a lot of like, D would be a very sensitive note.
Yeah.
With the blowing, right? And there's a lot of D there at the end. And so I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that we were able to pull it off. But it was a great thrill, I guess, wasn't it?
Oh, for sure. And then
I feel like I'm talking too much. I feel like I'm talking too much about myself, and I sound cheesy.
Not at all. No, that's the reason I'm asking questions from you, man. I want to hear. Yeah. So obviously, then lifting the prize, getting the name read out, and the reaction afterwards from the piping scene, I don't think there's anyone that has grumbled about the result. Normally, you do hear about people complaining, "Oh, someone else should have won." But there hasn't been any of that disagreement. Have you found that the support from the piping world has definitely been there from the result onwards? Yeah.
It's a good question. I'm sort of on an island out here, so I can't really say whether or not I've experienced that. It does seem like that. It seems like people liked it.
Yeah.
I will say that when you don't win the Worlds, it's I've never felt like I was super glad to not win. So, and I've been second at the Worlds personally, I think maybe 8, maybe 9 times. That hurts. And that hurts. And certainly nowadays with all the bands playing great. So, I'm certain that competition will be even steeper next year and so on. But I think I know what you mean. And I think the band played really well, and the medley certainly seems to be something where people really I honestly couldn't believe it. For me, it was more at Perth. At Perth, when we played the medley for the first time, that was when I felt the most emotion. I just couldn't believe that we pulled it off. Yeah. It's just and it went well, and the crowd actually clapped at the end. You know, because you do this, and there's several things we're doing in that medley that are different and maybe a little bit weird. So and we think it's cool, but you know, ending slow, and like you said, Steven playing the standard drum score there for a bit at the end, and the chords, you know, the chords are a little bit adventurous at the end as well. So you're like, oh my God, I think people are like, I think it's possible we nail this and people hate it, or we don't nail it at all because it's a little bit on the crazy side. But yeah, for me at Perth, I think at the end of the day, there were some issues at Perth that you know, that we wanted to fix and tweak a little bit for the next week. But like, for me, that's when it really hit that, like, oh, this could be kind of cool. People seem to like it.
Yeah. There you go. Well, I'm not going to ask any musical spoilers and stuff for next season, but we've already heard that you guys are heading to the States then. The band's going to be doing a huge concert. Are you looking forward to that?
I'm really looking forward to it because it's just a 1 hour flight for me.
Yeah.
Um,
On your doorstep, man. Yeah.
so yeah, that's something that that the band's been working on for quite a while with I think with Jim Sim and some of the other folks that are involved in the Chicago thing. And yeah, they've been working on that for a while, and I think the band's super excited. It's very funny, you know. Like I go to Scotland for band practice, right? But like to go to America for us is like people are super stoked, I think.
Yeah. There's been a lot of excitement since the announcement. Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, it should be fun, and it's always exciting. I've like when the band was at Virginia, it was super fun because my folks and my cousins and stuff, well, and people from around here will get to see me play in the band, so that's pretty exciting. Where normally they just have to watch me on TV.
Yeah, watch a YouTube clip or something. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, for folks that's interested, go and grab tickets. Although I think they might well be like hen's teeth at this point. I think they may well be gone.
Well, that would be that would be cool if it did actually sell out, wouldn't it? I mean, I hope it does.
Oh, I have no doubt that it will. Absolutely. Yeah. So can I ask then, just before I let you go, about the dojo? You guys clearly have had a real busy year this year with all sorts of different adventures all across.
Yeah.
What's the future hold for you guys now the season's over?
Some naps. I'm gonna take some naps.
Yeah.
I think that yeah, the dojo's still going. We're gonna do I think we'll do another meetup next year in Scotland, which we've done the last 2 years, which is really fun.
Yeah.
We'll be at Kansas City again, which will be fun. And then yeah, just our bread and butter is we have a community online, and we teach people how to play the pipes.
There you go. And it's no bad thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's less unique now, I suppose. A lot of people are teaching online now, but it's still quite the institution, and pretty cool. And I think we're just getting back to it.
That's it. And I think definitely that community element that you speak about is definitely a big thing. Like I noticed that even at Pipe and Live, when we had like Rab Show Live and stuff, there was folks there and going, I remember you were in my dojo class, and they were meeting each other.
Yes.
So that's a big thing.
So cool. It's so cool. And I think it's probably worth being in the dojo just for the friendships. A lot of us out there are learning pipes kind of out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
A lot of us are more serious than our bandmates, maybe in many cases. It's like we want to learn more, we want to branch out. Anyways, the dojo's great for that, and yeah, it's weird, but you can make friends online.
You can. Absolutely you can. Yeah.
It's weird. It's weird because it's not face to face, and I think a lot of our clientele are older folks, and so they haven't made friends online a whole lot in their lives, but like yeah, it can be done, and it's actually kind of cool. And then yeah, nothing better than the pipe band world to find occasional reasons to get together and hang out. And
yeah,
that's why we do our meetup in Scotland, where we kind of get folks together and so on, because it blends perfectly with piping live. And then you're in it. You're in the big thing, the big piping live, and then you can go to the worlds.
The highlight of the piping calendar. Yeah,
pretty darn cool.
Absolutely. So, well, I know myself personally, I have been using tips to learn new tunes. It's that time of year. I've been handed a new folder of stuff and told to learn it. And I've been kind of struggling. So I've been using a lot of the tips there, and they've been really useful. Yeah. So I would point people in that direction.
Yeah. Well, build it up. Don't rush it. Be smart. Oh, and do I think the biggest tip for when you get a stack of tunes, right? You've got several tunes you've got to do, right?
Big old folder. Yep.
Yeah. So my tip to you would be, and to anyone would be, don't do them one at a time. So play through the whole stack. Play through the whole stack every day, or play through. Well, you might not have time for the whole stack, but keep them on the rotisserie. Like make sure you play every one, because what happens when you do that is the low hanging fruit will present itself to you when you do that. Like when I learn a whole lot of tunes at once, that's what I do. And then, so there'll be a tune that for whatever reason just gets stuck in your head, and you realize, oh, I have this memorized. without even really having to work on it. Right. And then keep that one. That one should be the first one that you play every day. The ones that have your interest and seem the most fun and the most doable.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you have those, then suddenly your stack of tunes just got smaller, right? Once you have the tune that got memorized easier, suddenly your stack is smaller. And yes, you'll end up with a few annoying tunes at the end that you're struggling with, right? Yeah. But at least it's just a few and it's not the whole stack. Because what some people sometimes do is they point to one tune and they say, "Oh, this is the one I'll do first," and then that's the one that you focus on, to the neglect of all the other tunes, right?
There you go. That's what's happening to me at the minute. Yeah, I've been learning my 2/4 marches and ignoring everything else.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that.
No.
Try and play through all of them. Or sing, or even just. By the way, maybe you can't just play through all the tunes, right?
Yeah.
Like I guess sometimes I take that for granted, but you could listen through them all. And then maybe sing through them all, right? But even if you're not playing them all yet, but yeah, give them all some exposure to your brain.
That's a great idea.
Kind of rotate through it.
Yeah, there you go. Sound advice, folks. If you are out there learning new sets and stuff, and you had a folder, maybe try that. Play your way through it. Good stuff. Well, I'm going to dig mine out now. It is sitting here somewhere. Yeah, I'm going to have a look at that.
Yep. And then don't put any pressure on yourself to learn things quickly. If you can sometimes you can't avoid it, but it sounds like you've got a little bit of time left before you have to be able to play all the tunes. So
that's it. We've got a few months now.
Perfect. This is a perfect time to be going through that rotisserie.
You are. Yeah, I love that. And for folks that's interested in getting that information, of course, or any further advice on learning tunes or anything else bagpiping, do go and check out the dojo. Shameless plug.
There it is.
Andrew, thanks so much for joining us on the show this week. It's great to catch up with you, man. And congratulations. Well done. World champion again.
Thank you. Yeah, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. You know, for a long time, I just had on a personal level, of course, and it doesn't really, you're always on a team. So the personal level doesn't matter that much, but for a long, long time, I just never managed to quite win it.
There you go. Yeah.
You know? And so to have four now is bananas, and it's pretty cool. And I'm enjoying it. But also, can I say one more thing?
Absolutely.
I feel like whether you win the Worlds or you lose it, you always do the same thing every year, which is do your absolute best and pour like every ounce of your effort and your emotion into it. So whether you win it or lose it, it's the same on the day. It's like this is what we're going to do. We're going to go out and we're going to do our very best.
There you go.
And that's it. And that's cool.
I love that. Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic.
I would assume you're not going to win every one, right? But yeah, just doing your best is the secret thing. And you could see that the bagpipe world is way better as a result of all of us all out there kind of pouring our all into it. So that's the important thing, I think.
Absolutely. No, I
Sounds
agree.
Sounds super dumb.
No,
Sorry.
it's so accurate though. That striving for excellence is what we're after. Yeah, absolutely.
And you're going to be passionate about it, whether, you know what I mean? You're going to be super passionate about it, whether you win or you lose. And that's the secret sauce.
There you go. Yeah. I love that. Fantastic. Andrew, thanks a million, mate. I'll let you go. Cheers.
Cheers.
Wise words there, indeed. And yeah, massive thank you to Andrew Douglas for joining us on the show this week. Really do appreciate it, taking the time. And yeah, I think you get a bit of a flavour as to what it was like to lift the big one. There you go. Fantastic. So, folks, I know earlier on in the show, we launched something really quite special. So just to remind you, nominations are open now. And emailed only nominations are accepted. All right, because I'm very aware that right now people are commenting on social media, nominating people for coolest drums, and there's one in there for best dressed. Yeah, comments and stuff on socials won't be counted. All right, email only nominations are accepted. So email us in bigrabshow@gmail.com. Put in the subject line nomination, and then all of your nominations will be counted and finalists will be announced and all that. Big Rab Show Awards are back, baby. Woo! There you go. That's been quite a packed show this week. We covered a lot of ground there, I feel. So thank you, everyone, for downloading this week and sticking with us to this point. And, as always, send us in your listener mail, bigrabshow@gmail.com, if you aren't sending in nominations for the Rab Show Awards, of course. And, of course, you can always check us out on Patreon. Yeah, where we have tons of extras over there on Patreon. So, consider clicking on support and being part of the Patreon faithful. All right, folks. I am out the door. Good luck to everyone who's going to be running campaigns and hoping for nominations for the awards. Remember, the nominations close. Yes, they don't stay open forever and a day, so do get your nominations in early if you can, so they will be counted. There you are. All right, I'm out the door. Thank you for downloading, and we will catch you all in the next one. Until next week, folks, all the best.
Well, that's it for another Big Rab Show podcast. Thanks so much for downloading this week, and a special thank you to our sponsor, G1 Reeds. Played by bands around the world, they are the champion's choice. Check out g1reeds.com for all of your piping needs. Don't forget to check out thebigrabshow.com to be kept up to date with all of the latest news and views from around the piping world. And also, check us out on Patreon. For $5 a month, you can get your hands on tons of extra piping goodness and be a part of the Patreon faithful. So, until next week, folks, we'll see you right here on the Big Rab Show Podcast. All the best.